Imagine being 19 years old, having over 10 employees, and making over 6 figures of profit every single year. Well, I know a kid who's doing exactly that. His name is Josh Lessard. He's working with some of the biggest names in the business, investing, and finance space. And I recently got the chance to sit down with him and ask him the 3 things or the 3 tips he'd recommend everybody do to achieve success in their very own life. Really hope you enjoy this video with Josh.
So Josh, how do you even define success?
Yeah, I'm sure everyone has seen someone incredibly rich, someone with incredibly good physique, and then someone that is just incredibly smart. But it is very rare to see all 3 of these qualities in one. And to measure success, you have to be great in all aspects of your life. So first, we'll talk about wealth. How do you actually get rich? Luke, what are you doing to maybe become a millionaire before 30?
Yeah, so wealth is the one that most people focus on. Most people think, okay, if I just accumulate as much money as I want, I'm just going to instantly be happy. But we actually don't believe wealth is the magic pill that's going to cure everything in your life. We think that there are many other aspects to that. But if we're going to focus on wealth to begin with, the most pivotal thing in terms of trying to build wealth is most people just spend more money than they're making. Okay, so first, you want to be spending less money than you're making every month. And then when you actually do have capital, you want to try to let that capital grow and appreciate. Don't spend your money on trash, okay? This is something the Bitcoiners get right. Stay humble and stack sats. Every paycheck, you stack a little bit of excess capital that you've got away into an asset that is actually appreciated in value. So I think 2 things that are very pivotal to building wealth, okay? Spend less than you make and focus on building businesses that are creating cash flow for yourself. Okay, you want a business that creates cash flow because when you have a business that is creating cash flow, you can free up your time. And when you can escape that 9-to-5 rat race and you kind of get more of your time freed up, you all of a sudden can open up all sorts of other avenues and other business ventures. So Josh, how about you? What's most important in terms of wealth building?
100% cash flow. I mean, no, you do not hear anybody getting mega rich off of just buying a stock or buying a cryptocurrency. It happens. But when you think of someone who is rich, what business do they own? What business do they run? And I'll tell you, me and Luke do similar things online, but I will give you some practical examples that almost every single big person in a social media space is looking for. So if you would want to make their life easier, the most important thing to all these guys is freeing up more time and allow them to make more money without them have to think about it, because that's what all entrepreneurs work. That's what all entrepreneurs need. They just need to free up their time. So what I do is I just create different avenues to free up entrepreneurs' time by doing the tedious tasks that they don't want to do. And I don't actually do it because I don't want to do it either. So I hire other people, let's say in the Philippines, to do that stuff for me. Let's say creating the reels that you see on most of these big YouTube channels, or doing the more tedious tasks that people do not want to do. Some practical examples that I know all of these big YouTubers are wanting is they want to take their videos and cut them down into blog posts or newsletters or Twitter threads, or different examples like that can be a great little side hustle. But if I was not such a useless computer nerd, then I would do something much more practical, like I would start an HVAC company. I think there will be way more money in that for the masses going on for the next few decades, because no one in America wants to work. So if you're someone who is willing to spend a little bit more time and effort on these activities and you can be good, I would start an HVAC, doing plumbing, roofing, anything that involves physical labor, and building a business around that. I will think you will be making a ton of money going into your future.
I couldn't agree more. I think you really hit the nail on the head there. You need to be creating a business that frees up more of your time. Okay, time is the universal currency. And I think you kind of talked a lot there about online ventures and online jobs. And I keep banging this home to anyone I meet in person, okay? Looking for some form of online income stream is the way to go. Because if you do have an online income stream, you can live the lifestyle you want, okay? That's what it's all about. When I was young and I was in my teens and early 20s, I was just trying to escape the 9-to-5 rat race. And once I found online income streams, they were actually far more beneficial for myself, because when you have the online income streams, you can do them from anywhere in the world.
Yeah, me and Luke were walking the streets of El Salvador, going to the gym today at noon, at 11:30. I mean, that is I picked the pinnacle of freedom. You work when you want to, and that is what everyone should thrive for.
I think that could be a good little transition there, because we were walking down the streets in El Salvador today, the gym, and Josh was shirtless here in El Salvador, and the big booty Latinas giving him all sorts of looks. But if you want the freedom to be able to walk to the gym whenever you want to go and train, and if you want the freedom to do whatever you want in your life, you actually need that time, okay? But Josh, let's now actually talk about the second key topic we want to touch on today. We've covered the wealth aspect of becoming successful. Let's now actually talk about the health, because I think you've also been hitting the gym for many years yourself, and you're fairly health conscious. So how do you feel about someone's health and what they should be doing?
Yeah, I would say this is incredibly important for all aspects of your life. I'm sure everyone has seen that mega rich millionaire that is just a fat slob that can barely get off the couch. And would anyone consider that person successful? I mean, yes, you can buy whatever you want, but are you genuinely happy? And something unlike wealth, it takes real hard work to achieve a nice body. So I think Luke can talk much more about this. He had us eating steak and eggs for lunch, as he's basically a carnivore-ish type of diet. So maybe you go into that a little bit more.
Certainly not the expert in this realm. I try my best, but I really do think having a relatively good-ish physique is the ultimate proof of work, because you can't fake a good physique. It's not something you can buy, okay? You cannot buy an aesthetic body, and especially today, where 60 to 70% of America is obese or overweight. If you can at least, maintain a somewhat average physique, I mean, you stand out a lot more as opposed to everyone else.
I don't think anyone should strive for an average physique, though. Just go to the gym, eat healthy. It is really quite simple. Everyone knows what they should be doing. They should cut out all the junk food, all these ingredients. When you see, it looks like a medical board on their ingredient list. Just, you should not be eating that. Everyone knows this is just very simple stuff. You should be eating one ingredient foods, and you are wildly more energized and more productive throughout the day, as well as just going to the gym. And if you don't know where to start, just go on YouTube, where you are right now, and you can find unlimited amounts of content for free onto how to get started working out and eating healthy. So I think the absolute most important part of someone's life is their mental and intellectual health, because I've met a lot of unhappy rich people. I've met a lot of unhappy fit people, but someone who is incredibly intelligent, who has a very principled life and lives by the rules that they set for themselves, I see them as the happiest people that I have ever met, or at least the most fulfilled. So I would argue intellect and having a rule of life is almost the most important, which is the third step in success.
And I think that's really important to touch on as well, because typically if you are looking after your health, that will actually have a positive downstream effect on how you actually feel psychologically, okay? So if you're feeling good physically, typically you're going to feel better from a psychological standpoint. So Josh, you kind of touched on a little bit earlier, eating just steak and eggs and keto and carnivore, you're instantly more productive, okay? If you're not eating the processed carbohydrates, I feel like I'm 30 to 40% more productive eating a keto and carnivore diet. And obviously, if you are more motivated, if you have more energy, and you are functioning at a higher level cognitively, you're more motivated to go out there and try to develop these other aspects of your life, like the intellectual side of things, and actually wanting and having the energy to go out there and learn more about the world and the life that surrounds us. So maybe, Josh, you can tease out that third factor a little bit more for the listeners today, where we start talking about the psychological aspect of being successful.
Yeah, I think it's by far the most important, just because what you know in your brain can never be taken away from you, ever. I mean, you can be in a jail cell and you could be forced to not eat and get super skinny, but you will always have your intellect, and you can always live by the principles that you set out to do. So we talked about going from zero to hero. My biggest inspiration, which started kind of improving myself, was actually through anime. I absolutely love the protagonist in most of these animes. I want to be just like them. And what do they follow? They follow a set rule of life that they believe in and that they live out every single day, no matter what. And they are almost continuously trying to better all aspects of their life. But talking about the intellect specifically, I think everyone should be listening to these podcasts. Just think about how smart, how lucky we are to be able to listen to people like Jordan Peterson on a daily basis, or read all the books that have been passed on by the smartest people ever. You should just be spending more time trying to learn as much as possible and expand your intellect, as well as a more philosophical guide to live your life.
That is such a great point. You literally do have an absolute world of information at your fingertips. Like whenever I'm shopping, wherever I'm showering, I'm listening to podcasts or I'm listening to books on Audible. And I think learning is such an important point that is missed about people trying to gain success. All they look at is dollar signs, okay? They don't actually think about, okay, how do I build a foundation and how do I actually build a business, okay? It all goes back to learning. So Josh, actually, let's round out this video and maybe a little bit more of a practical note. Josh, do you have maybe 1 or 2 podcasts or books that you think would really help the listener develop a better foundation for how they should be approaching their life and maybe even making more money?
I don't think there's one thing for anyone. I think everyone knows what they should be doing. You should not be watching TikToks all day. You should not be eating junk food. Everyone knows that they should be going to the gym, eating good. They should be reading books, listening to intellectual podcasts. They should be spending less time masturbating or doing all these horrible things. I mean, it's very simple. If you do the things that you know are good for you and don't do the things that aren't, you are going to live a more successful life in all aspects. And if you are someone who's down, just try this for a few months. Just do the things that you know you're supposed to do. Just read. If you don't know what to read, just look up the top 10 books to improve your life. And you'll find out that every single motivational book is the exact same. They're just telling you to do the things that you already know you're supposed to be doing.
I don't want to add anything to what you just said because I think you absolutely hit the nail on the head. If you experiment with these different things, just notice how you feel. Like if you feel better cutting out carbohydrates and going straight keto and carnivore, then keep doing it. That's how I ended up being a keto and carnivore freak. I tried it for 6 weeks and I felt amazing. I'll never go back. So I think that's a point that I just want to round out today's video on. Try different things and avoid the things that you know are bad for you. You know doom scrolling Facebook for 6 hours a day is bad for you. It doesn't make you happy. It makes you more frustrated, more divided with your friends and family because that is what social media is designed to do. Josh, I think that's a good place to just wrap this video on.
I hope you guys loved that interview with the one and the only Josh Lessard, who I believe is going to be one of the youngest billionaires ever on the entire planet. And if you, like Josh, like making money, like investing, and like making all sorts of business deals, you need to be staying up to date with what's happening in the markets. Something just happened for the first time in 15 months. I covered this announcement in a recent video right there. But if you, like me, are a little bit sick of macroeconomic and finance and all of the jargon we get bombarded with around the world, and you just want to learn a little bit more about Bitcoin and nation state adoption, you can check out the video that I recorded on why I believe the 4th largest country in the world is going to become a Bitcoin country. You can find that video right there. And with all that said, I'll see you guys in the next video.